Hello student, and in this session I will introduce you guys about the basic fundamentals about how the people can use the SQL. Basically the people normally use it on another platform like for example MySQL or Server SQL, but with the purpose of just learning about how people can just retrieve the data or what the people call data queries on a database. I believe that W3School will be a better virtual online environment for you guys to just start with the SQL. And in this session, I will just introduce you about the first part of that, how you can use some basic syntax in the SQL, how you can select the data, how you can use some where, like the condition for data filters and or not function, and how you can organize the data by order by. So for the later chapters, like maybe in the next week, we'll go into detail about more kind of like syntax and how you can conduct the process on SQL. But that's gonna be for the different story. Now, in today's session, we will just start with the beginning, alright? So first of all, if you want to just see about how the thing go into detail, you go into the homework instruction number 1, and you can see how I can describe about the Northwind database. You scroll it down into the question number 2 about Sql Lab, and you can see this could be the basic link. You can click in and open it on. So basically it could be something look like this. That means the data is totally clean, and most of the case, like if you want to retrieve data, you just have to cry out the codes over here and run the SQL if you want. Okay, so I will not just waste your time, and we first of all go into the detail about all the things. So when you I would recommend you guys to just go into the W3School, and in case like you don't have that, you can try to open for a kind of an account, an online account. It's totally free for you to just access into the W3School and log in. So over here, even you don't want to log in, you can see all the things that's be provided over here about the all the courses we will provide. So for example, over here, I just want to learn about the SQL, and they will provide it automatically link me into the SQL function. If you really want to just do it with the certificate, so you can start it, so you can easily go into that, and you can just enroll it with the price about like $95. So after you finish the course, you can get it, and it will be you can get the kind of certificate like this. That's will be very good for you in the futures. Okay, so back to the, if you don't have anything, you can go up here, right? Go into tutorial, and you can go to learn the SQL. If, in case like you want to learn about the professional SQL like MySQL, you're welcome. But here I just think like a beginning with the SQL on W3School could be something more preferred. You click on, and you can see how all the thing can go from the start to beginning to the end. And if you go through for all this kind of stuff, including for even the reference and the example, the quiz, you can get the certificate. Okay, but I will just start it easily with the first part. So I already have the SQL function, SQL window that I already click in, and also for the instruction. So over here, sorry, I would just glow on some kinds of like very quick. And if I go into the SQL tutorial, they will provide me a lot of kind of thing in detail. I'm going to just go into and get through, and like we can see at the in there. First of all, the instruction about the SQL. So you guys will be the one who have to study about this. They will just provide some very kind of basic information about SQL, what will be the like origins, and also like how you can use it, why you need the SQL in your business, and how you can kind of exploit them to just beneficial. Also, I would just skip this part because it's not, it would be like just mainly about the theories and also the terminology of SQL. We directly go into the SQL and some kinds of like basic fundamental. So here First of all, I want you guys to use the function about the customer. The customer table will be one of the part in something much bigger, or what I would say like the the NotWin database. So basically here they provide us about the information about how a company NotWin that can organize about all the information about all the database, including, so for example, different table including the supplier, product, all the detail categories, how they organize about the order, employee, the customer, a shipper, for example, over here, right? I'm talking about like for example a product, for example. So a product that it can have a lot of information, for example product ID, product name, and suppliers and other kind of stuff. And also it can be linked with the supplier, because that for a product, right, they must be provided by a supplier. And for example here, if you have a like supplier ID, that means the product ID number ABC something, for example milk, it had been provided by a specific supplier. But because that a supplier, they can provide a lot of different products, so just have a one supplier, we can have a look here, there could be infinity, right? That means a lot. That means we can have a different product provided by a supplier. So okay, so here I would just concentrate in here the customer data, the customer database, or the customer table. So they provide us information about the customer ID, the name of the company that customer got from, the contact name, address, city, reason, something other type stuff, and what would they order, something. All right. So with this one, we would just concentrate in the customer order first, and this will be the brief introduction about the customer and how I can retrieve the data from them. All right. So with this information, so I first of all go into the database table of this one, and they briefly introduce about this is the customer. The customer table have some kinds of like field or the characteristic, or you can say variable, whatever you say. That's including customer ID, right? The name of that customer, the contact name sometime, and address of them, the city where they are, postal code. Over here normally when the people send out the thing into a specific address, they need a postal code, and also the country. So because of this database, they include a lot of customers from different countries, so it's quite complicated, but let's skip from that one. All right, so we over here we can see like there's some kinds of like record, or you can say the element or the observation, and also we have some field like 7 column 7 field, right? They provide the information. So they first say about how you can write out the SQL statement. And for example over here I will just follow for the coding is over here to see what will be the specific. So first of all I want to select the data, I want to select everything, so I use the stars symbol. The star symbol mean everything. Okay, you can see like what exactly they mean right after that. And I want to retrieve the data from the table customer. Okay, so this will be the table customer, and I want to retrieve all the information from the customer table. So I run the SQL. Let's see. Okay, I have the problem, and what will be the problem? Because I didn't complete the data with the semicolon. Okay, so I had to stop it with a semicolon. If you don't have that, it cannot run on. Still have some problem about the customer. Okay, one more time I have another problem. That's one kind of demonstration. What the problem? You had to answer about the name of the table correctly. So the table name customer with S in the end. Here I didn't have it, so I had to put S. And now I run it. You see like if it really correct. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Yep, we do have it here over here, right? This could be all the information, and you can see that this could be the SQL to retrieve the data. Well, you can see the same thing that I already get, including for 7 different column, right? Different field or different variable: customer ID, the customer name, contract name, address, city, postal code, and also the country. Right? Not very kind of surprise, but however, there is not one thing. You can see that this will be the number of the record, and you can see that your database, they provide also the detailed information too. So the customer, they really do have the real data, right? The real data, like 91 observation in total, and that's the reason why we say like we had the 91 record over here. If you scroll it down, you can see like that's up to 91. Another thing that I want to just let you know could be like the SQL keyword. I mean, all the function in this is not case sensitive. So that means there are no difference between select if you not capitalize them, or like select if you capitalize them. So what it means? So over here I run it like select with capitalize, right? But if what happened if I change it into like non-capitalized word, and if I run it, okay, it's totally the same, right? If I run it, it's totally the same. And even when in case like I change it, sorry, even in case like I change it the from into the normal function, like into the normal and non-capitalized function, so they can still run it and they still get it out. So it's good, right? It's good, right? Okay. Next one, you can take a look into some of more important SQL command, and with here select and another one including like where this will be one of the important. For the rest of that, we will save it for the later chapters, okay? As for the later class, later video, I will demonstrate them in detail. So the next one, we try with the SQL select statement. So it's used to select the data from the database, specifically or all the data. What exactly they mean? For example, if over here, if I want to just select the data, I just use the function select something from the table name. Okay, so if I want to select everything, I would just click in the star symbol. But for example here, if I don't want to select for I just want to see about the customer name, right, from the customer table. So this will be my target. I would say like select the customer name from the customer table. Alright, so if I run this one, okay, you can see like now just have only one field that will be displayed, and this is the name of all the customer, right? In another case, if you want to just see it in detail, you can see like this is the customer table and have a lot different field too. So in case like I don't want to select all the things from the customer, okay, so I want to select some of the field only. For example, customer name. Okay, another one I want to see about the address. Okay, another one maybe I want to see about the country. Okay, so if I click on, I can see like, alright, this could be the information that I really want to retrieve from. Okay, and one more time about the star symbol. That means we can select all the column or all the attribute in the data. So instead of just specifies about the data or the field that I want, I just click on star, so I can select all the field that's available in the table, right? Next, I want to just remind you that in the end of each kind of like content, you can do the exercise. So you can start with the exercise and you can submit for the answer. If all the things correct, you can later get the certificate, something. Alright, so next we try with the Sql Select Distance. So this thing does mean what? Does mean the unit item only. For example, over here, right? If I say about the city, so I'm pretty sure that there's some people like the customer number 4 around the horn, Thomas Hattie. So he from city London, And also another one like here, the beverage Victoria Ashworth. So see also from London, and London 2 for another one, Elizabeth Brown. So that means the London that's in the city field, right? That is appear several times, and the same with other kinds of like city like Mexico, New Mexico something, or Bern something. So they will appear several times over here. But all the thing I want now would be like just the distinct city only. I don't want to see all the city. I just want to see like if Berlin they just be count like one. If Mexico they just should be count like one. Should not like all the record like 91 times. So how I can do it? One more time, I will use the function select from, but at this time I use the select distance. Okay, and I just want to see about city. What could be the different city unitly in the database of the in the table of the customer? So I select it from the table customer. All right, and close the semicolon. Now I run. Okay, you see that Berlin, but never Berlin can be like one more time. Can like be displayed. They totally unit, and there are just 69 different cities that's displayed in the table, not like 91 in total. Okay, actually I can run for another one because that's Berlin and Mexico and London. They just follow for the order of the table, but I wanted them to just be ordered in the alphabet order, so I use the order by, and I use the function cd2. So if I run this one more time, it can be ordered into the alphabet. So A first, right? B and C and D and G, something like that. We will talk about the detail about the order function later. But up here, right, you can see there how the select distance can work and tell us the story about this one, right? You can see also for the example one more time about this one. Okay, another thing. So this could be how the people do it with the function. So over here we can also count for the number. Of course, it here even on the SQL and also like the W3School, you can see the different number here. But in case like you really want to specify about that one, you can select this function, like for example select and count, right, the distance. So for example cd from the table, so we want to see how many would be the cd different, and I do it. So here they will be just counted, and that should be 69 different city unitly. You got this point? Thank you. Alright, now let's turn into another function that's very important with SQL data queries, because sometimes with the original data, right, you want to just select the data, but with some kinds of data filters, you don't want to get all the data, but with a specific condition that you want to select the data from. So that can help to extract only some record that fulfill a specified condition that you really require. For example, over here, for example, I want to just select all the data, but it should be the customer, right? For example, they just mostly come from Berlin, for example, right? So I will use one more time use select function, and for example I want to retrieve all the information, right? All the information, so this should be stored. Or no, I just want to see about the information about the contact name, and also the city, and also for the postal code. Okay, from the of course customer table. However, there are the type stuff. Oh, anyway, like most of the case, like after I use select and from, I just like click on and then go into the new sentence. Why do people do that with the coding? It makes the code more clearly and easy to see about the bug. I mean the problem, the errors of the code. So over here, I will just insert it. So now I want to see about like the condition that the customer I select just come from, for example, London, right? So I was use the function where, all right? So where will help me to select, and I want the city will be equal to, okay, will be equal to only London. Remember, I cannot do this one because if I run on that way, there's some trouble. You see no result because here the London they're not with a problem like this, right? So be careful about the correct or the accuracy of the coding. So London, if I click on correctly, oh, you see, right? We have a SIG record, that means 6 different customer that's come from London, and we also have the postcode and also the name. If that's correct, so the where function help a lot. Okay. Another thing, like the operation of the where cloud function will be like you can also use the operator to see. So over here, for example, because that's the customer ID, for example, I just say 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 like to 91, right? So instead of that one, I want to see about all the information, and I change it some other kind of extra information. So I want to select all the information, but because instead of see all the city, all right, equal to London, so over here I want to see about the different function, including for the for example customer ID, right? But I want them to be larger than, I don't want to like first 30 customer, but just the last customer until like from 31 until like 91. So I want all the customer ID must be larger than 30, and we will see like how it's going to be work. Okay, so just 61 observation can be like listed over here from customer ID 31, right, until 91. You can got the point. So in another case, like with this table, maybe it's not very kind of so good. So let's see about some other kinds of stuff, including for the employee. Now the employee, they don't have their information, so order, no, the shipper, supplier, category. Okay, so with this data, it look like I don't have their information about the number, so I cannot put it a lot. But like if in another case, like when the data we can select it with the different kind of operator, that should be more information. So we will just stop about this case, right? All right. So okay, let's just do it with another case. Like now you can already see it like for the where clause, right? Let's come into the next one. SQL with and or not operators. All right. So and that means all the conditions must happen at the same time. Or that means operation display a record if any of the conditions are true. Okay. And not, that means it go oppositely, or I mean that it's not true. So let's do it with the example. Okay. So now I do the same with the select all the information from the customer, or maybe I just want to just select that's one. Okay, select all the things from the customer. All right, and then now with the where's phrase, right, I need like the and. That means I have two different conditions. First of all, I want the city were equal to no, I want two. So I want both of the condition. First of all, the country, right? I need the country to be equal to UK. All right. And another condition. Oh, remember about this case, like it should be like correct in the code, right? And another condition about the city, they must be equal to, for example, London only. Okay, so two conditions, and I close with the semicolon. Alright, so So they display about the different information, and both of the case like they are from UK and they are both from London City. Okay. Another condition, another function, this will be or example. So that means here, for example, over here, right? If you want to select the data from the customer, but the city will be, maybe it may be from Berlin, or maybe it's from like Michelle, or maybe here, right? I can add in like the city will equal to London. All right. So if I run that way, so I can have the different choice. The people from the Berlin, this will be displayed, right? People from London, this will be displayed, and people from like München of Germany, this will be displayed too. Even if you not put a like city, but like another condition, for example, the country equal to Mexico. Okay, so that means you just select all the records that if the city are from Berlin, if the city are from München, or if the customer are from Mexico country, they can all select. And you can see right over here, right? The city, Berlin and München can be displayed, but also the people from Mexico can be displayed too, right? Last of all, this could be not example. So let's select all the field where the country is not Germany. So for example here, right, if you run it with the function here, with you select all the information, but where not, where maybe the city is different to maybe, I don't know, London, one more time. Okay, so that means select all the records that the city of them are not London. Where not, that means it's not London. And if you run it this one, okay, they display everything but not London. And remember, because that's we have a 91 record in total, but 6 of them were London, right? So that should be 85. That's not London. That's easy. That's easy to understand. Okay, and if we use, what happens if we say like you add, like for example, where the city is not London and the city is not what? Is not maybe for example Berlin. Okay, if you run it, okay, so that means here they will understand about this part, where not the city is not London, and also the city must be Berlin. Okay, must be Berlin. So just only one record has the Berlin, but I will change the function a little bit with the open the parenthesis, and what will be the difference here? Okay, so now here they will be have the different function. All right, different function, and they understand that it not when the two cities at the same time. Okay, I will say like this one happen at the same time, and you have to understand about the difference between when we have the parentheses and don't have the parentheses. The last function of today's session I want to introduce about will be like order by, and that's what I already introduced with you guys, right? You can order the keyword or all the records by the result from the ascending or the descending. Ascending means that's going up, descending that means it's going down, and that's short in the order. If you put it in like defaultly, it will short in the order of ascending. If you short it with the descending order, you must use the DESE keyword. So what does it mean? So for example, right, if I want to select all the information, or I just want to select about the city, okay, but the condition now I don't really need the where condition anymore, but I want to just order all the information about the order, right? If I just click on this, remember, so they just return me for the city, and last time I want just order them into the alphabet order, right? So I use the order by function and put in the criteria will be ordered by the city. So if you run like this, it's automatically just order all the things into the alphabet order with the ascending order. That means A first, and B and C and D. With this will be all the same with if I put in like ASC, that means the nomination of the ascending. Ascending does mean run here. You can see they still be ordered at alphabet ascending. But now if I change it with the descending, alright, so I put in like DESC. So that means I want they to put into the order, but with the descending order. That means the A, B, C, D, E, F, G's does end with the Z's, right? So Z will come first, and then A will become at final. Oh, right. So you see, on has this will be the different kind of system. So that's make a little bit confusing. But W's come first, right? Then V, T, S, then R, and then finally A, B, C. A will be at the final. So that's what the order of the ascending. All the same thing, we can do it with the based on the city and also for the customer ID. But now I want to see about the customer ID. I want to just order them by the customer ID. So you see, like I put them, so the customer ID with descending, that means 91 first and then 1 at the final. If I not and put it in like this way without any kind of specification, so 1 will become first. Alright. So basically this will be the way for us to just order the thing. And remember about the customer ID. Besides that, we can also use the function like 2 criteria for the order by. So for example, over here, they use both the country and the customer name to just clarify. So maybe for example, first if I just run with the country, so all the country from Argentina, Australia, Belgium, they will be ordered, right? All the information can be ordered in the kind of alphabet order. But with that, I'm okay with that. But like after that, because when I seek about the customer name, they are not like in same with the Argentina, right? Patio Simpson, and then Y, and then Santiago and Roland. Most of the case like that, this guy, they are not put into the right order. So I want the contact name should be listed in the alphabet order too. So I put in another condition including like contact name, right? The contact name, and I put them like the second order. So if that way, Argentina will be the name of the country still be the first priority for the order. But later you can see the contract name will be put into the alphabet, right? The alphabet order. First of all, come with the P, and then with the S, and then with the Y. So they are good now, right? The same with the Austria. So Georgia's the comfort because it's G and then R. Alright. So basically this could be the first part I want to say about how you can organize the data by the SQL, and you can also exploit about the other information and other function from here. In the next chapters, we will talk about the other kinds of the more kind of advanced data manipulation or the data queries with the SQL in the chapters. See you in the next video. Thank you so much.